So hello and welcome back to the channel. It is Tuesday night and we are live. And tonight, if you are tuning in, if you are a regular here on the channel, you are here every single Tuesday night. Or if this is your first time hearing us, maybe you saw this shared, maybe somebody sent it to you, maybe you saw that this dude lost 48 pounds in 3 months and you were like, hey, what the heck, however you found us, welcome. You picked an amazing episode, an amazing time to tune in, because tonight we have with us a very special guest. We have Bret from season 8 of The Biggest Transformation. Last Wednesday, it was just announced that he was the winner of season 8. And so without further ado, let's bring him on. We got all kinds of questions. I'm sure there's things you want to know, and I'm going to do my best to get him to tell you all of them. Well, some of them. So welcome, Bret.
How are you, Carmen?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure. This is a great program, so I'm happy to help out any way I can.
So let's just start with, the obvious, because, they saw the title of the video that dad, grandpa, husband, father, all the things. You have lost 48 pounds.
Yes.
In the last 3 months.
Yes. I did not think that was possible. I honestly did not believe that was a possibility until I started really applying everything.
So when you hear me say that, and because you started at 227 pounds and you are now in the 170s. So, is that surreal at all?
No, it's taken a while to sink in. The fact that my wife said you're not going out in those clothes anymore and bought new clothes kind of made it all real. And I think I told you during the season, and just for all honesty, during the prep week before, I was actually at 230. So we started trying to eat better there. So I started at 230, but the first weigh-in was 227, and I thought that 3-pound loss was a fluke. There's no way. I don't know what it is, but there's no way I lost 3 pounds in a week. So bad scale, whatever it was. But then about halfway through the season, I think you told me you could see it, and I'm like, I don't see it yet. I'm not seeing that in me, but it made me open my eyes and go, take a real look at yourself. Quit looking at the old you. Be honest with yourself, but also be honest about the good stuff. And that's when it started sinking in, hey, this is doable. I can potentially hit my goal months before I ever thought possible. And the idea of getting below 200 was not a reality for me for a long time. So it's kind of rambling more than I ever usually say at a time.
In reality, with prep week, you've lost over 51 pounds in 3 months, which is crazy. And here's what I love, because so often, and I want to tackle this first, because so often, obviously, your plan was not to lose 51 pounds in 3 months. Clearly, that was probably your goal for the whole 6 months.
That was actually my goal for a year. I was thinking a pound a week because and my wife and I have tried a lot of different diet things. Exercise has not been my deal. It turned out I didn't exercise properly. I was skipping things that I shouldn't skip because I was going with the stuff I liked. I was going with the weightlifting, the rowing machine, the elliptical, but I wasn't pushing the cardio hard enough. And the strength was fairly straightforward, but then the eating was just horrible. And so for all the problems that we tried, they always said, and if you watch any of the TV commercials or you read the stuff on Google, is lose a pound a week or lose up to 2 pounds a week. So I thought, okay, 2 pounds is huge. And when we started losing, because my wife lost pretty quick, early on, and then had a plateau. And when we were losing 3 pounds a week, no, this can't be real. I was actually questioning, did you really buy us a good scale? But the reality is the reality, and you finally have to admit, one, you were working off bad information to begin with. And then two, the program you're in is not a program, it's a life. So change your way of looking at it. It wasn't about diet and exercise anymore. It was about a better life.
Yeah.
And that's what I've seen in the last 12 weeks. I can do things that I didn't think possible. So
Even as a dad and a grandpa and somebody, well, let me go back to this, because obviously 50 pounds in 3 months is not a small feat. But here's what I love. You don't work out all day. About how long do you work out every day?
about 45 minutes a day, first thing in the morning.
So 45 minutes a day. And then Bret, because inquiring minds want to know, when you started the program, did you start starving yourself?
No, actually, this one I think is the first 2 or 3 weeks we were like, this is way too much food. Like I can't make all the. So we chose the portion fix because calorie counting already knew, like you gave us two choices: count calories or portion fix. But I think I can read body language well enough that you were like, you can count calories if you want to, but the portion fix is better. So we went with the portion fix plan, and I was sitting there going, I cannot eat this much salad and this much vegetables and these many containers of protein and take a protein shake and do a recovery shake. And like that's just too much. And it was actually eating so much better and getting rid of the sodas and my nemesis peanut M&Ms and Mountain Dew. Like so, but when you took that out, I was actually not hungry, but I was having sodas and M&Ms when I was stressed, and I was still hungry. So they're delicious sometimes, but they're not satisfying. And
Yes.
now I don't even like the temptation to go in and get a pack of M&Ms is not even there. I'm actually like I eat about portion out like over about 4 or 5 meals a day, depending on the day that I'm having and the number of meetings I have. But I'm never hungry. I go to bed, I'm not hungry. I wake up, I'm not hungry. Um, it's nice.
And so often we hear the exact thing you said. When people are starting something like the biggest transformation, they see all these results, they see people losing all this weight. I think one of the fears is, oh my goodness, am I going to be super hungry? Am I going to be starving? Am I going to be, not have any energy? And so often we hear the exact thing you said of not, I need more food. It's, how am I going to eat all this food? I am full. And energy increase. So here's my question for you. So when is the last time you were in the 170s?
College, 1980 to 84.
You 19 you have not been in the 170s since the 80s.
No. When I graduated college, so I was active in sports and my interests were kind of weird. So I went to the Coast Guard Academy. I was a martial artist at the time. So I couldn't do that at the academy because we didn't have a program. So I got into gymnastics, and I went from 165-ish when I started the academy, and by the time I graduated, it was about 185. And then I stayed there. About every 10 years, I would notice there'd be like near the end of that 10 years, there'd come a 5 to 8 pound jump in my weight gain. So I actually talked myself into getting used to that. And then next thing I knew, I'm up to 230 and honestly looking in the mirror and not liking what I saw. But
so what was the straw that broke the camel's back? Because you are what you've said several times, I'm a private guy. I like my business to be my business. And you sign up for this program, right? With this crazy chick who makes you weigh in publicly. It's on YouTube. So how did what led to that?
Yeah, even worse than that. Like, I would never call you crazy to your face. But so my daughter was in season 7 and I started seeing the results with her and she was starting to feel happier. So I was proud of her. I was happy. And my idea has always been be in the background and support them. So I love to barbecue. I do the cooking for the family. I love to do all that stuff. I get great joy of just helping other people. And providing food is part of that. I can cook because I enjoy that. And then my wife wanted to join the program. So Emily, for those that watch season 8, is my wife. And she said, I want to sign up for season 8. Like, well, great. I'll be right there with you and I'll support you the whole way and I'll be in the background. And then honestly, the day we did the video to submit to the stuff, she goes, we got to do our video today. Like, who's we? Like, what's the we we're talking about? She goes, well, you and I signed up and we got, we're going to get selected. Like, no, I'm in the background, remember? But I love her enough, and I knew that if we did this together, at least one of us would have success, because supporting each other has always been the what gets me the best results is when I know that she's got my back and I've got hers. Mm-hmm. So like, well, if you want to do this, then the idea of being on YouTube just horrified me. But I said, if you want to do this, I will do this with you. And since you signed us up, and then I said, but we're not going to get selected. I mean, our daughter's in season 7. She's not picking somebody, the parents of someone who just went through it. And then I came home one day and she goes, oh, by the way, we got selected. Like, oh boy. Right. and honestly, this is, I know your strong Christian beliefs, and I think most of the people in our group very strong Christian values. I actually consider this has been a blessing. Like, this is God kicking me in the butt, saying, I'm tired of hinting. It's time to slap you on the back of the head, kick you in the butt. You need to get where I need you to be, and you're not there. And that's actually, I really believe this was a blessing that I wasn't open to recognizing at the time. And now I'm like, man, I wish I'd watched it back in season 1.
Well, and it's so funny because you're so right. Like, so often we procrastinate our health. It becomes something we're not proud of what we see in the mirror, but it's this private thing that we're just going to do it by ourselves, right? We don't need help. We don't need to talk about our feelings. We don't need to talk about the emotional eating. Like, that's like, so we try to do it all these other ways. And so had you tried to lose weight before, or was this like the first time, or is this something you've been trying to get a hold of for a while?
I've tried. Emily and I have tried a couple of the nationally advertised programs. There was just nothing that it was just too easy to knock off it. I've tried calorie counting using MyFitnessPal app. Which was good. I've tried exercising, but what I didn't do was I didn't balance it the right way. And I always threw in okay, this was a long, hard day at work, so shorten the exercise. And to me, I found out from this program, I was doing it backwards. I was waiting for my exercise to be after the work day, because I knew, like, I've got so much to do at work. I just need to get in and get my work done, and then I'll exercise on the way home. Already not prioritizing the physical health. And then it'd be like, okay, and I've got a lot of work to do, and so I need a caffeine. Well, so I'll get a Mountain Dew. So the work I have to do at home, I'll have the Mountain Dew with me. So, and I can't get the can. I got to get the 24-ouncer.
Of course.
And if I'm going to have Mountain Dew, I might as well have the M&Ms with them. So everything I was doing to diet, even when I tried to eat right, I was counteracting by the bad habits that I'd gotten into to deal with the stress that I was ignoring of trying to stay ahead of schedule. Because I always try to get things done before the due date. So as due dates got closer, my stress would go up because I still have that drive to get things in early. Yeah. And I was sabotaging myself. Like, I am my own worst enemy when it came to the weight loss, and talking myself into why I couldn't achieve it. And then the last 3 years, and I know we told you, like, I lost my dad and my mom within the last 3 years, and I just used that as another reason not to be as committed to my own health and to focus on a lot of other things. And it actually hurt me in the long run. So
for you, what was the biggest difference in this and the things you've done in the past, because obviously these results aren't typical, right? They're typical for our program, but they're not typical in the weight loss world. So for you, I'm curious to know what, from your perspective, was the biggest difference.
I think trying to figure out how to word this, like, so you can go on Beachbody and sign up and do these programs. You get all this information is in some sort of app there, but you approach it, you meaning Carmen, um, you approach this in a different way than any other fitness or nutrition guide. Even in my work, I work for the city. I'm a police officer. We have we call it a better wellness program. Talks about nutrition and diet. Nobody combines how the diet and the exercise and the portion control and the lifestyle all have to change. So what worked for me was um, not just the leadership stuff and not just the diet and not just the exercise, but the tying in about this is about your overall quality of life, not just losing weight. And I would honestly, I would have been happy to lose 12 pounds and to have the lack of stress that I have now because I'd have been totally fine. There was never a drive to be number one or to be the highest. Like that was never in the, and it's still not what drives me. The fact that I'm actually waking up with energy, I'm happier. I found a routine that I know can carry on. But it was your comment. You're combining all this into uh, look at the big picture. Don't focus on all these little steps are important, and you got to take every step to get to the goal. But don't focus on the one. You know, like they all tie together. That's what made the difference. And no program that I've done before that has ever touched that. Even when I was fighting in martial arts, we didn't touch on how the whole schedule and the whole lifestyle, the stuff outside of your training can affect your training. The stuff
Yeah.
outside your work can affect your work. The stuff in your work can affect your family. None of that is ever touched on. And
Well,
it's go
no,
ahead.
but it's the whole thing, right? Because so often, like you can go on a diet and lose the weight, but if you don't get to the root of the issue, if you don't change your habits, if you don't get rid of those old habits, you're just going to go right back. Like you're never going to have a long-term change. And I think part of it was, coming from 288 pounds, I understood that as somebody who's struggled for so long. It just, and I got to tell you, it's been so fun to watch you. Like, obviously, you said your goal wasn't to be number one, but you did it really well. Like, you shot to the top of the leaderboard and you just stayed there. And no matter how much the girls, because you were the only guy in a cast of all girls, and you did so great. I know there were a couple uncomfortable moments, but for the most part. So like obviously people are noticing. What do people say when they see you?
The funniest first one, and I don't know if this made it to the season 8 cuts. One of the supervisors that works for me was on a temporary assignment when we started this program at the beginning. So she missed the first like half of the program, like didn't see me at all. And when she came back, and I had to catch her up on all the stuff that happened while she was gone and what we'd been doing and all the little changes, and she goes, did you lose weight? And I think I was down about 25 pounds then. And her next question was, are you sick? Like that's too fast. And I told her no. I said, I told her about the biggest transformation. I said, I found we found someone that can actually tell us how to do this right. I said, and I'm losing weight way faster than I thought possible, and still going. And now other people, I get comments every now and then like, "Man, you got toned up and slimmed down," and it's kind of I try not to be self-conscious and stuff, but it is kind of nice to hear that. And I didn't think I'd feel that way. I'm a very inner-driven person, so I didn't really think that would matter. But it is cool to see and to get those comments. So.
Well,
And
I
we have a
think
good season. I mean, we
go
have
ahead.
a lot of good motivational people that I did this with, and I did learn that you all like to talk about stuff that should be kept behind closed doors, but you know, so
Oh, I know. You're always so funny. Sometimes when I bring stuff up, you're like, is she really talking about this right now?
yeah.
And it's so fun sometimes to beat the stereotype because so often as we get older, once we're parents and grandparents, like you see most people our age gaining weight, a belly, like all those things. And so when you take control of your health and you start going against the grain, not only does it stand out, but I think it becomes an inspiration for other people, Bret, of what is possible. Like there's no doubt in my mind that you have inspired people of, wow, look at this guy. Like, look at this guy.
But here's where if I could, say anything that maybe will help people. So um, I'm 62 years old. When my dad was about my age, I think he was 60 when it happened. He had a quadruple bypass, and he was a cop also. No indications of heart issues at all. Nothing. Goes into work one day and thinks he pulled a muscle working out, and the doctor says, all the tests said nothing. He goes, just to be safe, it's not your heart, but let's put you on the EKG just in case. And that night he was getting a quadruple bypass. So that kind of was a wake up call for me. And they told him he would have 15 years of after the surgeries, after average life. Well, he followed the plan and lived almost 30 years by eating healthy. Um, I have a sister that was diabetic and had MS, both horrible, but she outdid all the odds too by following the rules. I started realizing like I'm going down the path that my dad was on because I wasn't getting the medical checks and I was getting at the age where he had the heart. And I didn't want to not be around for my grandkids and my son and my daughter and my wife. So that helped with this. And then 3 years ago, I did my annual physical and had fatty liver issue. And everybody goes, "Oh, no big deal." Like, so I was able to lose weight, and they go, "Okay, no, just stay exercising. You're good on the fatty liver." Only it went back up, and it went back up because I wasn't eating right, and I wasn't maintaining the regular exercise program. In the first 9 weeks of this program, I had to go in and get another fatty liver test because they wanted to put me on statins or something to lower all the cholesterol. And I dropped from higher than I've ever been on bad cholesterol to lower than I've ever been when they tested me. And that was in less than 9 weeks. So it's not just about looking good. It's not about being out there being able to take your shirt off and, I told you the SeaWorld thing, like, they're going to come and throw me back into the tank because I escaped. That's good to poke fun at yourself. It's really about, I don't want to take medicine that I don't absolutely have to take. Um, I want to live as long as I possibly can for my kids and my grandkids, and hopefully to see their kids. And that was the other big part of it was I actually had to wake up and realize if you don't change, you're actually setting yourself up to not do the stuff with them that you want to do.
Yeah.
So, that was a big part of it, but it still goes back. You tied it all together in a way that someone like me can understand it and believe. I mean, I 2 weeks into the program, I was like, yeah, she's got this dialed in. So just do what she says, and you'll learn from her, and then you can make adjustments once a year and a half from now, once you've actually dialed in the program, and you'll start adjusting for yourself in the right way.
So proud of you. And my last question, what would you say to somebody? Because so often, people see a transformation story. Like when I was overweight, I saw people lose weight and get healthy. And I'm sure you saw it too. But so often we make an excuse or we make a reason of why, well, Bret's obviously driven. He's a cop. He does this, he does that. Of course he could do it. They make an excuse or a reason of why you can do it. And maybe it wouldn't work for them. What would you say to somebody who's in the same place you are, where they went to the doctor, they're fatty liver, their tests are off the chart in the wrong direction. They don't think something like this would work, and they've almost given up, given in, but they want a better life for them and their family. They just don't know how. What would you say to somebody like that?
I would tell them several things. Like the foremost, you have to truly be committed to making a change. If you don't commit to something and you don't believe in yourself, and that was probably one of my issues. Like, it's easy for me to help other people. Helping myself was not as easy as I thought it was going to be. So first, be committed to, and actually honest with yourself. You need to change. After we did our video, to submit to you, I think the next day was the first time I looked in the mirror and go, man, you have really let yourself go. Like, the first time I honestly said that. Before I was like, yeah, you don't look good. I was actually honest at that point, like, this is not a good thing. So commit to making a change. The second one is you got to find someone to do it with. And by far, I would say apply for the biggest transformation. If you can do that, that program works, because I've done this. I've tried this stuff for my almost 30-year police career of ways to stay in shape and stay healthy and eat healthy. And people see cops on TV and like, oh, they can all run and all that. But we spend a lot of time sitting in a car, driving around from call to call, driving through McDonald's or Wendy's or Burger King to get to the next call because you want to eat and still be out there. So it's a commitment to service, but it's also not a commitment to yourself.
Yeah.
But you got to do this with somebody. You cannot do this by yourself. Unless you're really, really, really strongly motivated, which even I couldn't do that. And I'm pretty strongly inner driven. And then the last one is that I tell them, don't think you can modify the program. These fitness trainers, all the programs on Beachbody are designed to work in a certain way. So don't pick and choose the workouts, follow the plan for that workout. I did each workout from the start to the end, even if it turned out like, I don't think I like this one, I'm not going to do it again, but there's a reason why they're done in the order they're done. There's a reason why the portions are done the way they're done. You have to go all the way to the end before you can decide whether you like the program or not. So once you start it, you got to go through. But by far, if you want to do it, if you want to learn fast, and if you want to get this done in a short time, anyone can do it. It doesn't have anything to do with how far overweight you are, whether you're morbidly obese, or just want to lose 5 pounds. The plan that you have and following that, and if they can't afford or they don't want to apply, watch the seasons. You'll get good advice, but it's better to get connected with someone that's been in it. The mentoring, the being checked on, they're having to go in and say, hey, here's how I did. Making that kind of stuff, that's what makes it work until it becomes a habit. And habits aren't developed overnight. Habits take a long, long time to develop. So
100%. Well, thank you so much for sharing all your expertise, your story. Bret, you are an inspiration, and it has been an absolute pleasure and honor to watch you kick butt, take names these last 12 weeks, to watch you shed 50 pounds and see ab muscles coming in on you. Like, it is absolutely crazy. I know someone's going to ask, I will drop a link down below for the wait list for our next season of The Biggest Transformation. There'll be a link, fill it out. We'll send you all the details of when it is, all the things. So anyway, Bret, thank you for being on. Thank you for your hard work, your dedication.
For me, and on behalf of my wife and my daughter, like, I thank you for everything you've done. Like, it is actually my honor to have been selected and to actually learn from this. So all the credit to you. I mean, I did the exercising, but I couldn't have done it without the guidance. So I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for watching. We will see you back next week. Same time, same place.